Hey, CD11, we are back with another weekly budget update from City Hall. Over the last few weeks, we've sat down with general managers from city departments that were of interest to you, and today I am really excited because we are sitting down with my pick, General Manager from City Tourism Department, Doane. Doane, it is great to have you with us in CD11 today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is a real honor.
Well, I am really excited to have you here. I think my constituents know, and you most certainly know, that as chair of Trade, Travel, and Tourism, I am particularly interested in our tourism economy. I also live on the West Side, which is home to so many of our city's top tourism assets. And I know there's a lot of interest in the business community, in particular in CD11, in getting our tourism economy kickstarted and working together as a private sector community and the public sector to really enhance our tourism economy and revenue and assets. So I'm really excited to have you here, and I'm really excited to introduce you to our constituents and learn a little bit more about what city tourism does.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about. You know, we have a number of big events coming to the city of Los Angeles. The World Cup is right around the corner in 2026, and the Olympics just beyond that in 2028.
Don't forget about the Super Bowl in
Super
2027.
Bowl, we've got the Masters.
Yep.
There are a bunch of things coming here to Los Angeles. So how do we incorporate our overall strategies around tourism and investments in tourism to align with some of these big events coming to LA?
Yeah, these big events are amazing opportunities to highlight not only to the spectators, but to the rest of the world watching these events. It's free advertising for us on television in front of the biggest audiences in the world. And we need to be ready for it. We need to be safe, secure, clean, easy to get around, and we are going to be ready.
Yeah, good. Well, we don't have any choice because these things are coming. It makes me think about Venice also. Not only do I live in Venice, but as the councilwoman for the 11th district, you know, I have the responsibility of representing our ocean, our coastline, the Marvin Browdy bike trail, our beautiful Santa Monica Mountains, as well as our world famous iconic Venice Beach. How do we incorporate those destinations like Venice, like Hollywood, like downtown Los Angeles into our city's overall tourism strategy? And how do we present these assets to the world in a way that makes people really want to come here and check them out?
Yeah, we have this great relationship with an organization called Los Angeles Tourism and Convention Board. They're the exclusive destination marketing organization that works on behalf of the city. And they do an amazing job in marketing and advertising the city to potential visitors all over the world. They spend millions and millions of dollars on advertising that we would never see because we live here in LA. They're advertising in Europe and China and Asia and New Zealand and Australia. And so they spend a lot of money and a lot of research on who the potential visitors are and how we get them to come to Los Angeles. And so that's one of the great things we have here in LA is a great product to sell. I know there's been challenges, certainly during the pandemic. You know, we had 7 million visitors a year before the pandemic from international travel. That's the number that still hasn't come back yet. In the meantime, we focused on domestic travel all during the pandemic and got those numbers back. And we've kind of positioned, you know, our advertising budgets to places like India and Australia and New Zealand, markets that didn't really come to Los Angeles in big numbers, but because of this pivot that we had to have, we spent some money in those markets, and we're seeing the results of that.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that tourism from Asia is starting to tick back up. I know that's something that you and I have talked a lot about over the last year. Is domestic tourism back up? Are we seeing it increase from other parts of the world?
Domestic travel is almost where we were pre-pandemic. So that's all the people from the United States
Well, I'm glad to hear that's coming back in part.
Could I mention one thing?
Yeah.
You mentioned Venice Beach, which is the #1 tourist attraction in the city of LA. But I would argue an even bigger tourist attraction in your district is LAX.
Yes,
right?
the entry point for tens of millions of people every year. Yes.
The money we're investing there is going to pay off. Those are infrastructure investments that are important to the city and are going to help our tourism infrastructure for decades to come. And you've been a key part of that as chair of Trade, Travel, and Tourism. We really appreciate everything you're doing to fight for the improvements that are needed at LAX.
Well, thank you for that. And you are certainly welcome. And it's good of you to note that. I mean, it is such an incredible asset and something that really, makes a first impression. And so really important investments there.
And one of the things that we can work on together in the coming years is making that connection between LAX and tourism, right? Because, like you said, it's the front door.
Yeah.
That's where so many people, and we're going to be able to get rid of the traffic and make those connections and really improve the user experience for travelers when they land in LA, and then continue on to their final destinations in the city. And that's, I think, going to be the most important tourist attraction in the city.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm really excited to getting the work there done.
Yeah.
And certainly we hope to have everything up and running and it polished and beautiful and ready to welcome the world, certainly by the Olympics in 2028.
That all helps our economy and our budget.
Doane, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for all of that. One final question to you, because I think this is an interesting, notable fact, and I bet you my constituents in CD11 don't know this. You actually hold a world record. Tell us what that's about.
Well, on October 28th, 2018, for the first time ever in history, one city hosted a sporting event in 5 different sports, all 5 different sports, on the same day. It's never happened before, and it may never happen again. And so my good friend Branimir Kvartuk, who used to work in Council District 15, and we decided that we would go to all 5 games. So we went to a Kings game, a Galaxy game, a Rams game, a Dodger game, and a Clippers game all in the same day. And it was a lot of fun. And like I said, we couldn't miss the opportunity to be a part of history. And so we just set the goal and went out and did it. And it shows what a great city we have, what a great city we have for visitors, and what a great sports city we are.
Well, it sounds like a great world record to hold and a perfect day in Los Angeles.
It was showing LA at its very best.
I love it. All right, Doane, it's great to have you here today. Thank you so much. We look forward to the continued partnership. CD11, we'll see you next week with another budget update.